Welcome to the stream. I'm getting set up ready here. My name is Jose. I'm a young in Kendo, and welcome to another Kendo Tips stream. Today we're going to do Suburi together. Or you can just watch me do Suburi and tell me what you think about my Suburi. So let me just set up here. If you're here, please let me know you're here so I can say hello. That'll be awesome. Let me just set up my whole chat and everything so I know when people are asking any questions. If you have any questions, if you're here, please let me know in the chat so I can, acknowledge you, answer your questions, be mindful that you are there and actually coming back and read the questions and say things. But I should be fine because I can see the chat from, let me see. Yeah, it should be fine. If you can let me know if the microphone is good, if the audio is good enough. I guess we have a little bit of music and we're gonna shut off. I just want to remind you that normally I do streaming on Sundays at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, and now I'm going to do Suburis at 7 p.m. Eastern time every Wednesdays. Did I say that word already? Anyways, but you know what I mean. Wednesdays 7, Sundays 3:30. And today is going to be Suburi. On Sundays we do Mitori Geiko and discussion and open questions, back and forth questions and stuff like that. So yeah, just want to give a little bit of time for people to start joining in, saying hello, and get this going, have people going. But I'm going to, I guess, explain to you a little bit of what I have planned for today. I always like to say that for me, Suburi, I want to avoid Suburi being a warm-up. I want it to be a study, especially when I'm doing it at home. And if I have to say that one of the things that I think helped me enjoy Suburi more, it's seeing it that way. Instead of just like a physical exercise, okay, I'm just gonna do Suburi just to do Suburi. If I have a goal in mind or something specific that I wanna fix or something that I'm interested on working on, when I see it that way, I think it helps me be a little bit more entertained when it comes to doing Suburi and actually spending more time doing Suburi. I don't necessarily go, especially on this practice, I'm not necessarily going to go for something crazy like let's do like 10,000 Suburi, not even like 1,000 Suburi. But I do want to make sure that every Suburi we do, if you're going to do it with me or if you're going to do it later at your own pace or whatever, my philosophy or the way I try to do it is that every Suburi is going to be better than the one before. That doesn't mean that I'm going to start by slacking off and then get to regular. I'm going to start normal and make sure that I'm working to make each Suburi better every time I cut. That being said, I kind of want to just give a little bit of topic to work on today if you would like to join me, or if you want to watch me do it and then kind of like criticize me or tell me a little bit about that specific thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the wide camera here, and actually hold on, I need to make sure that this is actually the wide angle. There you go. You can see me there. Can you see my feet? Let me just adjust a little bit. If I go like that a little bit, you'll probably see better. And the first thing that I want to make sure that I guess this camera. The first thing I want to make sure that we work on today is that the snappiness of the left leg coming forward, right? I want to avoid that dragging feeling. I want to work on improving my footwork to go forward, out. That's number one. And number two is going to be a good extension of the shinai. A lot of times I see on beginners, let me switch up here. I see on beginners a lot of times that when they do the cuts, they kind of end up maybe too low or with the tip too high, right? So what I'm looking for myself specifically, is that I want to have a good extension of my arms and a good extension of the tip. I guess it will probably be better to watch it here. So I want to have a good extension of my arm on my tip and not necessarily end up here or end up here for the mat, okay? So hopefully I can make every cut good with a good snap on my leg and a good cut on my arms. So if you will be so kind to kind of watch over the Suburi time and point it out if I'm not doing it good, if I'm not doing it correctly. And if you see anything specifically, I will really, really appreciate it if you just comment it and let me know, hey, listen, you have this going on. Be careful, mind yourself and, improve this. That'll be awesome because, we're learning together. Anyways, if you're here, if you can hear me, if everything's good, please let me know in the chat that you're here so I can say hello. I can know who's here, because unless you tell me, I would not know if you're here. I think normally on these sessions, I will do maybe like about 30 minutes Suburi, and if you have any questions, we'll probably get a little bit extended or so on. But if you have any suggestions or any requirements or anything you would like to see, let me know. Today I will be using three tools. So I have a thicker shinai, a shinai that's a little bit heavier than a regular shinai. I have a regular shinai. Did I say three tools or I say fourth tool? Anyways, like four. I'm just gonna show them off a little bit, but I'm gonna mainly use the small shinai, which has a weight on the tip. And I also have a regular shinai, and I also have a bokken, right? And this bokken is kind of a little bit special because it's very, very light. It wouldn't, I don't think, if I were to like probably hit it with another bokken, it will probably break because it's very light. It kind of feels hollow. And the reason I kind of want to show this off, or kind of like, share with you, is because supposedly the way that the person that gave it to me like told me that when you do suburi with a very light bokken, you should avoid your tip like bouncing off too much, because if it bounces too much, that means that you're putting too much right hand. So I guess I'll just do a couple suburis towards the end just to see what comes up and just see what you guys think. Anyways, normally I like to use a regular size shinai, but obviously my ceiling, my ceiling, it's fine. It's good enough for me to do suburi, but I'm afraid of the fan that's right over there. So I kind of want to just not concern myself about the fan and just do proper technique. So I will advise you, if you're doing suburi at home and you are concerned on hitting the roof, the ceiling, avoid using a regular size shinai, because it starts happening that people tend to, myself included, because I've done it myself, my form starts suffering because I try to avoid hitting the ceiling. So I tend to pull with my right arm, and you want to avoid that. That's not good. Okay, you want to have a good swing, a big and extended swing on the way up, and a sharp swing on the way down without any interference. Anyways, that being said, let's get going with suburi. So the first thing I always like to do is jogeburi, and I'm going to do a big extension, and I'm going to allow my tip to kind of drop here, but I am not going to bend my right arm. Okay, that's something I see a lot of people when they do jogeburi, is that they bend the arm towards the end. No, I'm going to make sure that my arms are by my ears, and maybe my wrists are relaxing, but I'm not trying to touch my back, okay? I'm just, especially with this shinai, I'm just trying to have a good extension, and then on the way down, I want to extend all the way down. Now, what I like to do is I personally put my hands together here, because it forces my left hand to push and pull in order to bring the sword up and to bring the sword down. So I will recommend you to try that, because that's actually a friend of mine in Japan had me to do that, just to understand how to not use the right arm. So I think that's a good way to try, a good thing to try. So I'm gonna do 30, okay? I'm not gonna be too loud with Kiai, just because neighbors and stuff. So anyways, so I guess we should start with etiquette, right? So first of all, I'm kind of facing this way because that's where I have my main camera, and it's kind of weird to have this here to the side, but excuse me if that's uncomfortable. Anyways, jogeburi. So, sanjuka. It's ni, san, ship, go, look, sit, hach, go, jump. It's ni, san, ship, go, look, sit, hach, go, jump. It's ni, san, ship, Sit. Hut. Go. That's all. I always like to finish my Suburi with kamae, right? A lot of times I see people kind of like lose that attentiveness and they're like, okay, I'm done. Okay. Yeah. I try to avoid that. I'm done. Kamae. And then relax. Let me know how it's better. Do you think it's better to have the music, a little bit of music playing in the background? I can't hear it, so I'm okay with it. So I'd rather for you to tell me if you find that uncomfortable or not. One thing that I always suggest is try to either record yourself doing Suburi or have some type of like mirror or something to get feedback. For me, it's actually very good because I have my screen right in front of me and the camera's on the side. So I don't have to turn around like I would with a mirror. And I'm getting feedback for myself right in front of me, which I think for me is actually very good. But you also want to make sure that you also focus on doing what you're doing rather than looking what you're doing. So that way you actually work on different things. Because for example, on this drill, I can admit that I was not conscious about my left foot coming forward, which is one of the things that I said I was going to do at the beginning. I was concerned with my extension, but I wasn't concerned with my foot. So yeah, that's good feedback for myself. Anyways, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to use the heavier shinai. Okay, I'm going to use the heavier shinai, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to use I'm going to move my arms the way that I think it should go, on the way up and on the way down, slowly. This one I'm going to do it on seisa, so that way I'm not concerned about my ceiling. If you don't have a thick shinai, I recommend you maybe using like a shinai with a weight on it, or maybe 2 shinais. I think that's good stuff. That's good stuff to do, okay? So I'm gonna go with that. Give me 1 second here. Just move this here. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Oh, you see, I'm used to talking to that camera, so I guess I was supposed to talk to that one. Anyways, I guess I'm gonna do Sonkyo. No, maybe say so that way, the space. So, itch. E. So. Shoot. Go. Duck. Sit. Hutch. Cook. You. Okay, so I like to do this specific exercise kind of just to teach my body the control, the right motion, to have a good arc, and just to get a little bit of time to actually study the whole motion with my arms without concern about my legs. Freddy, you say hi there today, 23, yeah. Kind regards there, Jose, and thanks for the support. Freddie, thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate the fact that you're here. We're doing Suburi together. If you see that I'm making mistakes or anything, please let me know. Okay, so I like to do that type of Suburi with the big shinai slow, so I can feel the right muscles working, and I know how to, I guess I get a little bit of consciousness to activate them when I'm practicing, when I'm doing my regular swing. that's an exercise that I really recommend anybody doing, just because it just gives you a good self-awareness of where everything should be and the right position and the right motions for everything. Anyways, now what I want to do is let's do EQ domain 30 times. So I'm going to 1 count, hitman, and then go back, okay? So, like that. Hitman, itch. Hit. So. Ship. Go. Look. Such. Hutch. Good. Jump. It's. Nip. Salt. Ship. Go. Duck. Sitch. Hutch. Cup. Jump. It's. Nip. Salt. Ship. Go. Duck. Sitch. Hutch. Cup. Stop. Okay. I like, ooh, I'm sweating already. That's crazy. Okay, it's kind of warm here too. So, please everybody, if you're joining late, let me know you're here so I can say hello back. And please let me know if that music that you have in the background is annoying or not, because I can't hear it, so it doesn't bother me. Just let me know if you like it or not. Friday, you're saying thanks to reminding you for both sounds, the one for counting and the second one with your cut, when you cut. Okay, so that's one of the things that I like to do for Suburi. It's not necessarily go too much for speed, right? I'm not gonna go ich, ni, san, shi, go, roku, shi, cha, chi, right? I want to make sure I take my time between cut to cut, but every cut with intensity. So it's, I think for me, it's okay to take the time between one cut to another, but give 100% on each cut. And with the ki, I'm not doing too high ki, too loud ki, because, you know, neighbors. But ideally, yes, you want to make sure that you don't stop your breathing. So it happens a lot when people are doing Suburi, or even in Keiko, that they take a breath, they do the first ki, like, shop, and then like they kind of hold their breath in their, you know, like their diaphragm kind of like tightens up. And I like to avoid that by just doing the first count, and I'm always exhaling, and then at the moment of the ki, man. That way I feel like I'm not holding back myself with my breath. So I don't know if it works for you, let me know how it works, how it goes. Anyways, the next thing I want to do is I want to do yokomen. I'm only going to cut to the right, so I guess I should do this looking forward towards the camera. And I picked this up a while back when I was at Butokodan in California with Ariga Sensei. And I always like to practice that because I feel that I can be more conscious about the proper alignment of my hands. So we're going to do yokomen, so only cutting to the right on the way forward and on the way back. Okay? So ideally you want to make sure that you keep your hands in the middle on the way up and in the middle on the way down, with the right arm being the one directing the sword. Another thing that I forgot to say earlier, but it's something that I can remember from one of the previous videos that I made, is that a lot of times beginners have the problem of going up and kind of opening up the elbows. right? And then they have to use, if you see my shoulders, they kind of like way too high. You want to make sure that you keep your elbows here, and that's going to avoid opening up and then having to use the wrong muscles to bring the sword down. You want to start kind of using your whole back, right, in order to come down. So make sure that you don't open up your elbows. I guess it's a long way from me saying don't open your elbows. I'll leave this camera because I feel like we'll probably get a better look that way. So we're gonna be come on. So 30 times, okay? Jaime, it's knee, so, ship, go, hook, sit, hatch, cup, jump, it's knee, so, ship, go, hook, sit, hatch, cup, jump, it's knee, so, ship, hut, hook, sit, hatch, cup, let's stop. Okay. Now we're always that attention at the end, that attention. Make sure that alertness to go forward. Might be something a little bit cliche to say, but something that I like to, that's the way I like to look at it. After the cut, you know, you're not done. Same thing as in testing, right? Your test is not done when they say, Yame, you have to go back, and then sonkyo, and then go out, bow, in good form. So, I don't know. So we did Yokumen to the right. One thing, sorry, this guy fell. Now that we're going forward and backwards, one thing that I kind of thought about this when I was doing this last Suburi is that a lot of times people tend to do good cut on the way forward, but on the way back, they kind of like arc and they lean. Avoid that. Try to stay in the same motion, in the same, not same motion, the same line for going forward, going back. You don't want to lean forward or lean back. You want to make sure that your hips are always pushing forward, always momentum, intention to go forward, pop, and then on the way back, pop, same thing, okay? Avoid that leaning. Anyways, I'm gonna switch to this camera because now I'm gonna do Yokumen on the left, right? Now, this tends to be a little bit problematic for some people because they end up doing this. Remember, you want to drive with your hands in the center, so the right hand is going to give that change of direction. The left arm is going to stay right there in the center, okay? So 30 times, again, forward, backwards, forward, backwards. Okay. You may edge, knee, salt, ship, go, hook, sit, hatch, cup, jump, edge, knee, salt, ship, go, hook, sit, hatch, cup, jump, edge, knee, salt, ship, go, hook, sit, hatch, cup, jump, 10 more, edge, knee, salt, ship, go, hook, sit, hatch, cup, assault. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know if I lost count or not, but I just kept going with 10 more just in case, because I like to. That's why I kind of don't like counting when I'm doing like a lot of Suburi. I just do them. So if I lose count, it'll be bad. But if I lose count, I tend to add 10 more instead of take away. So I feel like I'm safer that way. And what's 10 more, right? Anyways, if anybody has a question, if you just join in, let me know that you're here so I can say hello. Yeah, or any observations, please let me know. I'm here not only just to kind of just do Suburi for everybody to see, I kind of would like to learn from you as well, and hopefully somebody else will learn with the stuff that we're talking about here. So that'll be good. Okay, so we did men on the right, men on the left. Now what I want to do is I want to do forward and backwards. I mean right and left, and then forward and backwards. So we're going to do 2 cuts forward, 2 cuts back, 2 cuts forward, 2 cuts back. 30 times as well. Every count has 2 strikes in it. So each men, men, me, men, men. Now here I have very little space, and it's okay because that's one of the things that I also like to try to work. Not only doing the long steps, but also doing short steps. I think that's very, very useful depending on the situation. So hold on. Christian, you say, hola, just checking in for a sec, started practicing Kendo 6 months ago. Thanks for doing this. Thank you, Christian. If you have any question, please let me know. We're here for you. So you can join in, you can save this for later, watch them later. If you have any questions of what I'm doing, please feel free to do so and I'll answer them, okay? So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna do Sayumen, 2 forward, 2 back, start from back, so that way I have a little bit of space, okay? So, here, 30 times. Hajime, it's, ni, so, ship, go, look, sit, hutch, cup, jump, it's, knee, so, ship, go, duck, sit, hutch, cup, itch, knee, so, shit, go, look, sit, hutch, cup, yeah. No, I missed one. Yep, and let's do 10 more just because I missed. Itch, knee, so, ship, up, duck, such, hutch, cup, yeah. So I'm sorry I messed that count. I was actually kind of reading there was something in my screen, so I'm sorry for that. What I want to do though, what I want to say, this type of waza right now, I was doing it very slow between cut to cut. The last 10 I kind of stepped it up a little bit, and there's one thing that I kind of want to mention. The stepping, right? Be able to do that fast transition, 1, 2, from one step to the next. It's very, very important. So you want to avoid that type of motion. So in order to do that, you want to push, and instead of putting all your weight forward on your right leg, you want to use your right leg as a transition spot, and the left leg is always pushing. And then once it gets to the spot for the next step, you want to make sure it's pushing again. So question, please tell me, you tell me that should my arms be higher for men's strike? Where was I stopping? Was I stopping like here or like down here? Normally what I like to do is I like to see it where like they are right here for the men, for myself, where they're like, I'm not gonna say completely parallel to the floor, but it's almost parallel to the floor. Are you looking at the tip, or are you looking at my arms specifically? I guess you said arms, so I'm gonna guess you were looking at my arms. I will have to go back. Hold on, let me check. I will have to go back and look at myself, because maybe I did dip. But ideally, what I want to do, thank you for pointing that out, is that I want to end up like right about here. That's where I'm looking to end. So, was I ending like lower in here? Maybe was I landing here? So if I was ending like right here, yes, I was definitely wrong. Okay. Ideally, I want to end up. And I know that the difference might be minute, but it's awesome that you're picking it up. There's, how do I say this? Some people don't like to have their arms out, like stretch out like this either. Some people like end up here. But I guess that's depending on your dojo, your sensei, and stuff like that. But ideally, yeah, you know what I'm gonna do, Christian, is like after this, I'll go back and watch myself. I always do, because I wanna just make sure that I'm doing good. Thank you for pointing that out. But yes, you want to avoid putting your hands down to this level. You want to bring them up here, so that way you have good reach and good form to hit further. So I love menwaza. I really like, especially like I-man or Degashira man, right? Or Debana man. I really love those techniques. So I'm always looking to improve it. Ideally, you want to hit where you have the most reach. So a lot of sensei said that you want to make sure that you cut down all the way to here, and that's fine as well, right? But what you want to make sure is that your momentum is going forward, and especially with someone your own height, you want to avoid hitting kind of like this angle, so that way the mengane doesn't hit the shinai. You want to hit on top of the men instead of kind of in the front of it. So yeah, I mean, like, again, how does your sensei tells you to do it? Tells you like maybe higher than this. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see, because if you guys, I talked in one of my streams before, and I think I actually even made a video about it. There's a sensei, Hachidan sensei from Japan, that made a video about actually hitting and not even bringing the arms down to the point, or like the sword down to hit down to here. It's more like high and then bounces up. And there's some things that I'm having a hard time understanding, but baseline, ideally, what you want to do is just want to make sure that your arms are in front of you. As a guidance, I try to keep my left arm in front of my chest plate and right arm parallel to the floor. That's my way to go on that one. Hope that answers that question, and I am trying to get better with my arms on my man strikes too. So yeah, I really appreciate the observation. You know what? Just because of that, I'm going to do a few more men. Let me see how can I do this. So now I'm going to do 20 men. Okay. Actually no, I'm gonna do, just because I did forward backwards walkers. I'm gonna do 30 men forward and back. Okay. So Senshin Kotai Suburi, Sanju Kai, Hajime, Etsu. Ni, so, ship, go, look, such, hutch, cup, jump, etch, ni, so, ship, cup, cup. Wait. Oh my god, I lost count again. Chich, cup, jump. Etch, nip, so, ship, go, look, touch, hutch, cup, jump, hit, stop, ship, hip, 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 last stop. That is so crazy. I'm so sorry. I'm losing count so much. I need to get used to not seeing so much of the stuff that's going on here, and I get distracted. I think something else, and I lose count. I need to come up with a system for that. So I'm sorry. I'm losing count. But I'm still trying to do my waza properly. So the next waza I'm going to do kote men, right? So it's going to be small steps. Let me talk a little bit about this. A lot of times when I'm being taught kote men, or when I'm practicing kote men, a lot of senseis say to hit kote and then longer step for men, right? Which I can understand that we're trying to work out our footwork, and that's good practice, right? Especially when you want to work your fluidity with your footwork. But most of the times, practically, what you want to do is you want to normally do maybe even a longer step for kote, but a shorter step for the men, because once you take the waza coming in forward, the men is going to be closer. So I see a lot of beginners kind of take that and not being able to make transfer to do a shorter step for the men. So they do perfect, beautiful kote, but then for men, like in the front part of the mengane. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do small step for the kote and smaller step for the men, especially because we have very little floor. So hopefully that'll be a good thing. So kote men, I'm going to do 10 because I kind of want to talk about something that probably is going to happen, and then we're going to do a regular 30. So we're going to go forward and backwards. So hajime, etch, tap, hip, tap, salt, tap, ship, tap, go, tap, look, tap, search, tap, hutch, tap, cut, tap, stop, tap. Okay, so ideally for demonstration purposes, I don't like to do it with the small shinai. I'm gonna try to do it with the long shinai, but I'm going to do it slow so I don't hit anything, okay? So a lot of times when we're doing kote men, people hit the kote, or even with kote in general, they hit the kote kind of like too close to their body, right? And then in order to bring the sword up, they kind of use the right arm to bring it up here. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to hit the kote away from your body as much as possible, then use the left hand again to bring the sword up and hit that man, okay? That's a common mistake that I think happens a lot, especially when we're trying to do waza quicker. That maybe our brain or our body tries to say, okay, I need to compensate to be a little bit faster by pulling with the right. But that's actually, at the end of the day, it's going to take away speed. It's going to take away control from your shinai. You want to use your arms, your wrists, your tenouchi, and the proper use of the left and right arm in order to get that kote men, okay? Kote men. Ideally, you want to do the same thing with small waza as you do with big waza, okay? So please make sure that you work on getting a kote that is extended and then using your arms properly to bring the sword up for the second cut instead of okay? Or it's like a little bit too close. You want to make sure you use your left arm away, okay? I'm sorry I kind of look down, but I want to make sure that I don't hit stuff and actually, working with you guys. So now we're going to do 30. We're going to do kote men, kote men, kote men, kote men, kote men. Each count 2 strikes, okay? So, and quick refresher for the theme of the day, it's the left foot shouldn't drag. It should come with power forward and good extension on the arms. Okay? So, 当て、おてめ、三遊間、はじめ、1、2、3、4、6、stop. Okay. I personally noticed some of the stuff that I think, Christian, you were saying, that maybe my arm kind of ending up a little bit too low. So what I started to notice with that is that I wasn't properly engaging my tenouchi. So I guess I was using my muscles to stop the sword a little bit further. The other thing that I noticed is that sometimes I was actually hitting the kote a little bit too high. And I'm not sure because I was afraid of hitting the desk or what it was, but I want to make sure that for my kote, I'm hitting it out here, down here, not out here, okay? Because I feel like sometimes I did this, where I want to do that, man, okay? So I'm not trying to pass down my bad habits to you, so please be mindful that I made mistakes. So yeah, that's very important. Okay, so we did men, sayu men. We did kote men. When we did the sayu men, men, and then men, I guess it will be, that's the closest way kind of like to kirikaeshi that I can do in here. Ideally, normally, I don't practice this here in this small space. I have a spot where I can go and actually get a little bit better training in that sense. But I'm adapting, so, and that's a big theme, I guess, for this year, right? To adapt our training to whatever we have, whatever space we have, an opportunity we have to train. The next thing I want to do is I want to do, let me see if I have enough space for kote mendo without compromising. No, I don't have space. I really don't have space. I'm sorry, I guess I was talking to that camera when I should have been talking to that camera. But anyways, kote men do. It's out of the picture for my space right here. Let me do lunges, okay? So for lunges, there's one key factor that I want to make sure is that you don't put your weight on the front leg as you cut. You want to kind of put your weight in between the legs, so that way the left leg can push you forward if you need to go forward. We're not gonna go forward, we're gonna hit and then go back, but you don't want to land out here. A lot of times I see that people land out here, maybe like here, and when they're gonna go forward, when they're gonna go up, they kind of like, okay? Where ideally you want to end up in this position, then with power, with good posture, with balance, you should be able to go forward in this way without having to put your weight on your right leg, okay? So in order to do that, you want to make sure that you have a good, solid standing in both legs. So we're only gonna do 20 times, okay? So come on, it's switch the leg, knee, switch the leg, so, ship, go, look, touch, hutch, cut, jump, touch, hit, stop, ship, go, look, touch, hutch, cup, stop. Okay. Actually, let me put this camera again. So there's something very interesting, very important of why I like to do the lunges and then go back, is that it also trains you to push back. And I feel a lot of times we kind of like leave hikiwaza unattended. We forget about it. So ideally what you want to do, let me make sure my feet show up, is that you want to push with power with the right leg and avoid this, right? Push, push. And if you notice when you do Suburi, forward and backwards, and you do it like that, that power resembles a lot what the left leg needs to do in order to go forward. So if you learn properly this shouldn't be a problem, okay? I hope that's helpful. I hope that helps you fix maybe if you have any problems with your footwork and so on. So you see, we're going to do haya suburi. I'm going to do 30 haya suburi, not that much, especially because I don't want to bother my neighbors. With haya suburi, you want to make sure that you are landing, right? And avoiding this type of motion. Okay, you want to go land, tutup, 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 okay? Make sure that you are landing in every strike. So 30 times, okay? Mate, hime, et, in, so, ship, go, puck, such, hutch, cup, jump, et, in, so, ship, go, puck, such, hutch, cup, jump, et, in, so, ship, go, look, such, hutch, cup, stop. Okay. So before I finish this off, there's one little, I guess, drill I want to show you before I do my last drill of the night and I say goodbye. And it's a way to kind of make Suburi a little bit more practical in Keiko. So I guess it's an okay way to explain it, but anyways, you be the judge of this. So ideally, you want to allow yourself to control your body in different ways. So in the way we did men before, it was kind of like this, right? The hands move first, then the body was kind of following. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do at the same time, only 10. Okay, so that allows for a little bit more sharpness and a different timing of your swing. So only 10 times, okay? So hands and feet are moving at the same time. 10 times. Hajime, edge, back, hey, stop, chip, go, duck, touch, hutch, cup, elasto, okay. Another thing is that right at the last moment of the impact, you want to relax, okay? Right when you have the impact, you want to relax the muscle instead of like keep adding tension. And that's why I'm going to show you the whole thing with the lighter shinai last, okay? So we're going to do, now we're going to do a different type of suburi, one more. So the first one we did earlier was 1, 2. Now we just did 1. Now it's going to be legs go first and then the arms go at the very last moment, okay? Almost at the time where you're gonna do fumikiri. So this is a little bit more advanced, a little bit more complicated for early students because you want to avoid that tension. You want to avoid creating tension. But I think it's a great exercise to create that fluidity and to change the timing when you are actually practicing in keiko. So we're gonna try 10 times. Feet first, hands last. Yime, ich, hum. So you see your arms have to catch up. Ni, hum. So, hum. Shit, hum. Go, hum. Duck, hum. Sit, hum. Hutch, hum. Cup, hum. Stall, jip, hum. Okay. Now, as promised, hold on, as promised, this thing fell. I need to make sure, like, I need to like find a stand or something that I can have here. Anyways, what I want to do is I want to maybe do 10 suburi with this shinai, with this bokken, and try to put extra force on my right arm, and let's see what happens. And then I'm gonna try to do it regularly, and let's see what happens, okay? So here, I guess, hold on, maybe here, probably better. So, ship, go, rock, shitch, hutch, cup, yeah. So, in this one, I'm purely throwing my right arm forward. And I want to see if you notice that if there's any difference or anything happens differently if I just pull with my left arm. And then tenouchi at the end and then relax. Ich, hip, thump, chip, hop, duck, touch, hutch, cup, chip. I don't know if you can notice any significant difference when I hit. I'm trying to do my best on the second one, and on the first one I tried to purposely kind of like put extra force. But whether this kind of works as a tool to show you, if it doesn't, I think for me the light shinai helps me just to do a good motion in the sense of the shape of the shinai, the bokken, kind of allow me to put my hands in the right place, and also not limit me when it comes to that extra weight, so I can just do a little bit of a nicer cut without having to worry about the balance of the shinai whatsoever. But in true honesty, I don't think this is really a good tool for training specifically. It was given to me, and I haven't really found a function. I just want to know if anybody notices a difference with that swing. But regardless, one thing that you definitely want to avoid, it's hitting down on the target. You want to hit forward, right? You want to avoid doing that hit where like your partner is going to feel like he's being pushed down. You want to make sure that even though you're hitting with intensity, it doesn't really hurt when you're hitting properly, right? That's one of the things that I would like to say, that even though, we don't get to practice right now with people, I think that's one of the things that I miss the most, kind of like perfecting or improving my strikes, where I can actually hit with power without harming my partner. I think that's one of the things, that's one of my biggest goals that I kind of would like to improve on my Kendo right now. I think that's kind of like the last drill that I want to show, the little thing I want to show. I thought it would be kind of interesting if you wanted to see that. I hope it was, but let me just do some kyo so that way we finish properly. So, I guess what's up. And listen, everyone, if you're enjoying this type of things, I'm still figuring out. This is my second Suburi day that I've done. If you have any questions or any suggestions, I'll really, really appreciate it, because I would really like to improve this, not only for motivate myself for practice more, but also to help you improve your Kendo. And this is a time for us to improve our Kendo with other people and try to just, get better together. I think more than ever, the friends that I have made all around the world, we're coming together kind of like to work on different things and just make ourselves better. So I really appreciate if you just take a second, and if you have any suggestions, any questions, anything that you can tell me to improve this in order to give you more and to give other people more, that would be awesome. If you haven't and you enjoyed this streams, the videos that I'm making and my content, I'll ask you to please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to make it to 1,000, and I'm kind of really close to that. So I really appreciate if you share this and bring people in. That will be really helpful. So, anyways, anybody has any questions that I can answer, or any comments about my Suburi, that'll be awesome. That in any case, I'm streaming on Sundays at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, and on Wednesdays I'm doing the Suburis at 7 p.m. I'm trying to make it where I post a video each week about Kendo content and something to help us improve our Kendo. But I've been slacking on that for the past 2 weeks because I've been working a lot of other stuff, and hopefully I can have a surprise video coming up in 2 days, or 1 day, hopefully for Christmas, but we'll see. Anyways, that being said, I think I'm going to just say goodbye. I want to say thank you for everybody that passed by, commented, and gave me some feedback, and everybody that just participated and whatsoever. So thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll catch you guys on the next stream or the next video. Yeah, whatever. So I'll catch you guys later. Thank you very much.